It's me, EK from EK Gorman Designs, and I am sneaking in here with another 5 Fast cards, this time featuring the brand new Mine Monochrome kit from White Rose Crafts. This is a special edition, limited edition kit. It is not part of their normal subscription kits, and everything is black, gray, and white. It is completely monochrome, and it is awesome. Find yourself struggling with the latest trend in crafting? White Rose Craft has developed a kit that makes the monochrome style easy and all in one box. And today I'm making 5 fast cards plus a bonus card, sharing ways to create in this style. For my first card, I trimmed up some of the glorious, lovely papers included in the kit and pulled out one of the 2 stamp sets in the kit. This Fisker's bird stamp. I pulled out the Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide that's included in the kit and started stamping onto the card frame. Now the only thing really I'm using from my personal stash when creating these 5 plus a bonus cards today is some black ink, adhesive to adhere paper, and 5 card frames. So everything else is in the kit. So this is black ink I'm speaking of right here. This is mine. But really, everything else is from the kit. So I'm stamping onto a card, just a basic 4 by 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card frame, the A2 card frame. And I'm adhering it on. I've used a combination of either roller glue or score tape, just depending on the size of the piece I'm using. And for this first card, I wanted to layer a couple of the papers onto the card frame and create a really feminine card. I finished it off with a couple of the gemstones, the adhesive gemstones, and I love these. They have these teeny tiny ones. Seriously, I've never seen gemstones so small. I'm in love with this size. Here's my first card today, and to parallel this first card, which is a very feminine card, I'm going to now create a masculine parallel to it. So I used basically the same combination of papers, except for on the feminine one, I used the pearlized metallic cardstock included in the kit. For the masculine one, I included the black, I want to say it's black onyx, but that may not be right, metallic cardstock. So that's like the varying difference. And then I used the feminine stamp set, which is the birds from Fisker's, for the feminine card. For the masculine one, I pulled out the Tim Holt stamp set included in the kit and had maybe way too much fun stamping. I'm not used to using red rubber anymore. I've just kind of gotten away from using red rubber, and after stamping with it here, I need to get back into using red rubber. It's so much fun. You can just do kind of cool stuff with rubber that just clear doesn't allow you to do. So I stamped out, like I basically made the same card with 2 different looks because of the stamping I did. And I probably should have trimmed up the pieces of paper to begin with, but scissors work to trim it perfectly. I forgot I put the sentiment on. I'm actually using the same sentiment for both cards that comes from the Fisker stamp set, and it's this happiness. And I did it in black ink, and so I just kind of left it in my stamping platform. And now I'm going to add more jewels. It's the right word, jewels here. We're going to add more jewels, including the teeny tiny one, which is awesome. So there's 2 cards with one a masculine feel and one with a feminine feel, but everything's done the same, which I think is very, very cool. I'm going to go in a completely different direction for card 3 and pull out this piece of paper included in the kit and trim it up to make some of my own ephemera. I like the little sentiments on it, and I thought if I just went ahead and trimmed them up and turned it into ephemera, then it would be a lot easier to make cards using it, because now I have 9 pieces of cool ephemera. I also pulled out this piece of black and white polka dot paper, and this might be my favorite paper, and it shouldn't be because it's probably like the simplest, but I love the music note paper. I adhered everything to a card, and yes, I trimmed everything so it would fit perfectly onto my card, and started to layer paper this way. Now I knew I wanted to use one of the little pieces of ephemera I trimmed up in the center of the music notes, and I like the way the black plays off the white. So again, everything about this kit is playing with that monochrome color look, and in this case it's black, grays, and whites. And I just love the way the white paper pops the black sentiment. The card felt a little boring, so I pulled out some of the ribbon that's in the kit and really found I think a nice way to finish the card off by layering two pieces of the ribbon, both the lace and the sparkly glitter ribbon, onto the card, and I think it just kind of gave it a little pop of something special. I am using score tape here because it's my favorite tape. Like, it's just the best tape. Score tape rocks, and it really holds heavy things down nicely. I thought the sentiment, my ephemera sentiment, could use a little popping, so I pulled out some more of that black metallic cardstock and gave it its own little matting, and now it has its own little sparkle and shine. To finish the card off, I pulled out some of the Dove Crafts glitter glue and silver and gave just a few drops to kind of finish this card off. I put the drops in the wrong spot though. In hindsight, it should have gone above, not below, and we're all just going to accept it, because there you go, it's card number 3. For card 4, I pulled out one of the Kaiser Craft, what do we call, I always call them lunchbox cards. That's not what they're called. I call them lunchbox cards. But they're these thick, heavy cardstock cards that are printed on both sides and kind of become this perfect little like tuck-in card, or in this case, trim it up and turn it into an ephemera card. I really liked the sentiment here, a day to remember. I thought the shape of it was really cool. I knew I could trim it up and make it look really cool. So I actually trimmed a border using that heavy cardstock and started to layer up my card. I wanted to have 2 pieces of paper and a border and then this like homegrown sentiment that I made. And I thought it would make a really cool card, and I'm not wrong. It makes a really cool card. This black and white, what is it called? It's I'm not going to find the word. It's gone. Anyway, the black and white paper here is really cool because it's got a reflective quality to it, making the card feel a little lot more special than 3 pieces of paper that it is. I did pull out some 3-dimensional tape, and you'll see me tape it in a funny way. It's because I wanted it to lay flat despite coming over that little border piece I created. And I like the way it pops up. The card could have finished here, and I think have been a really cool card, but I pulled out the really beautiful jeweled butterfly. And how cool is this? Like, one little sticker, jeweled sticker, turns what is kind of cool card into a really special card. These little jewels are just neat. And in combination with this colored paper, you end up with is a really cool card, but yet simple to make. For card 5, I pulled out the notebook paper, which I thought was really, really cool, and I trimmed it up so the card would look like a notebook, and decided to do some fancy stamping on it to finish the card off nicely. I pulled back out the Tim Holtz stamp set and pulled out this time the train stamp themed images and put them onto my stamping platform, mainly because I'm a terrible stamper. If anybody's seen me stamping platforms were designed for people like me. I am not a great stamper. However, I forgot how well red rubber stamps stamp detail. Look at the detail of that. Isn't it cool? So I went with the train and the sentiment in black, and then pulled out the hickory smoke distress oxide and stamped the other images in that gray color. And come to find out, didn't need my stamping platform. Was stamping so well that I only had to do it once. I kind of anticipated having to stamp everything multiple times. Didn't have to do it for once. And after I got the basic placement, I realized I could use another train image, so I kind of just rearranged everything. And one last time, I stamped out the train and ended up with what's a really cool card. Now, watch this kind of cool stamping turn into really cool because of the itty-bitty, teeny-tiny micro gems, adhesive gems. Are those cool? They're so cool! And it finishes the card off in a really fun way. It's amazing if you just do some simple stamping on cool printed paper, what a cool card you can come out with. Now, today you get a bonus card, because included in the kit are some pre-folded cards with matching envelopes. I can't tell you the size of this card because I don't know what it is, because I did not measure it, but it's bigger than an A2, and it's got a coordinating envelope. So it's a card size. I just don't know what card size it is. If you know, please let me know in the comments below. If you can just look at this and know how big it is. I was having too much fun creating to actually stop and measure things. I wanted to turn the black cardstock into its own printed piece of paper, so I pulled out the Fisker stamp set, and just with the black hickory black hickory. Nope. Distressed oxide hickory smoke. Stamped out some images, and it was kind of wet. It's a very juicy stamp set, or it's ink pad. Very juicy ink pad, so I actually needed to heat set dry it because I didn't want to smear things. I took a little bit of printed paper from the included paper in the set, and I also included a bit of ribbon. This is the gray and white. One could argue it's silver and white, but I'm going to go with the word gray today. And added the ribbon between where the stamping and the paper added up so it looked like a natural border. I should have used different scissors. I should have used scissors that cut fabric, and because a ribbon is fabric, not paper, and I should not use my paper cutting scissors when cutting ribbon. I, however, do all the time. I pulled out another piece of that ephemera I trimmed up and turned into ephemera and backed it with that leftover cardstock from when I trimmed up one of those lunchbox cards. I promise at some point I'm going to figure out what they're actually called, but it's the Kaisercraft cards that are a nice heavy cardstock. And I had some left over from where I trimmed up, so I used it as a mat for this piece of ephemera. Because frankly, the ephemera is a little thin to be popping up three-dimensionally on its own, but once you mat it out on the cardstock, it's perfect. I finished the card off with some of the floral sequins included in the Sparkle Blends coordinating color from Doodles Paper Playground. And I love how big the sequins are this month. Like, since we're talking just basic colors, I love that there's a lot of big sequins included. Instead of finding some glue on my desk, I actually just pulled out the glitter glue from Dovecraft that's included in the kit and used it to glue down the sequins. And surprisingly enough, it worked really, really well. I wanted to finish the envelope off with kind of a coordinating stamp that's on the card, so I pulled the big bird back out and just stamped in the front of the card. I think it turned out really nice. So there's the bonus card. You're only getting to see the bonus card by watching here in the video, so congratulations if you made it to this part. Thanks for joining me today with the 5+ bonus card that I made for the Make Mine Monochrome kit. This kit is selling really, really fast, so if you want yours, make sure you order it today. Let me know in the comments below which of the 5 or bonus cards are your favorite, and until then, happy crafting.